Hey everybody, I apologize for being late. This was not how I was going to do this, so we're gonna have to wing it because how I wanted to do it is not working. So let's see if I get what I want. Look, we're still winging it. Hi Jan. Hey Sue. Welcome you guys. As you can tell, I'm at home. It's my day off today, but that's all right because I'm quilting. That's never a bad day. I was trying to do this on my laptop and have two cameras, and it was gonna be this awesome thing. Hi Teresa. And hi Shelly. But I can't figure it out. Hi Mom. And since I was almost 10 minutes late, I figured we would just wing it and we can all, you'll get it. We'll figure it out. Hi Jan. So, there's a lot of different ways to do this. With different, so people do portraits, they do, it's just amazing what people are able to do with fabric nowadays. So I'm going to show you the basics, essentially, as my mama has taught me. Hi, Jalen. So what you're going to start out with is a pattern. My pattern today is a heart. Not very sophisticated. They're usually pretty simple for what we're doing. You can... Hi, Lynn. No, Lynn, I was late because I can't use technology, apparently. So, yeah. So here we go. We're doing this the hard way, maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out together. But anyway, back to patterns. I think that you can use a drawing, like a kid or a grandkid has a drawing. You could use that. You could use a coloring book. You just need to scale it up to the size that you want it. So this is a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper that I drew a heart on. So that's what I'm going to fill in. So this is my pattern. The first thing I'm going to do is I have this stuff called PatternEase. It is a non-woven, non-fusible fabric. I have it in the shop, so if it's something you're interested in, I can get that to you. And that's what I'm going to trace my pattern onto. So you can use a light box, you can use the window, you can do however you need to trace your pattern. That's how you're going to trace your pattern. And it doesn't need to be a perfect trace because you're going to cover up that line that you are tracing. If you are doing something that's super detailed, like a portrait or something along those lines, then yes, I would be a little bit more careful. But today, we are not being that careful. Hi, Dad. So I have traced my pattern, here's my pattern, onto my PatternEase. This is what this is my foundation for my new fabric, basically. So my new fabric is made up of all sorts of stuff. Hi, Lisa. You can, so let me show you some examples of what I mean by my new fabric. So my mom, being the master quilter that she is, but she doesn't think that she is, but she really is, did this. This is what we're doing today. This is the technique that we are working on today. So she has taken a bunch of fabrics. They're not even all flowers, if you look in there. Taking a bunch of flowers and just gluing them together and making a new fabric. Hi, Alicia. If you guys have questions along the way, I can see your questions, most of them. So please put your questions down below and I'll answer what I can answer. So this is a Laura Heine pattern. So this actually hangs in my bathroom. So that I'm lucky that way. I get to see a lot of my mom's amazing art in my house. This is another one that she did. She did this one for me. This is also a Laura Heine pattern. And this is her, this one I think is all flowers. And then this down here is just a zigzag stitch. But you can see that we took a bunch of flowers. We had the shape of the dress form drawn onto our PatternEase, like I have here. We cut out a lot of flowers, and then they got attached to the PatternEase, and then the PatternEase gets attached to the background fabric. So let's go back. Oh, I forgot to show you. So when I had my daughter, her theme for her nursery were fairies. So we put a little fairy in the middle of my dress form. But anyway, so these quilts are decorative. These are not things that you're going to be washing a lot. Hi, Vanessa. These are things that you're going to hang and you probably will never wash. You probably could, but this is like a raw edge applique. So there will be a point where those edges curl up a little bit. If you really quilt it down, you'll be better off. So if you want to make, like if I wanted to take this heart and put it on the back of a jacket, I would really quilt it and make sure that the edges are not able to really lift. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to find a bunch of fabrics. So I have a bunch from my mom's stash because she's awesome like that. So you're going to find, and it could be, you could go with a theme. It could be all pink roses. It could be all blue pansies. I don't know. Pick a theme. Pick something that you like. It doesn't even have to be flowers. Like here's some different shapes. Like this one here is a, came out of, you know. So it's just find what you like. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put Steam a Seam 2 on it. On the back of all your fabrics that you're going to put into, that you're going to use to build your new fabric, right? So the Steam a Seam 2 is a double-sided fusible. You can do this other ways. This is how I know how to do it, so this is what I'm showing you guys. So I'm going to back all my fabrics with Steam a Seam 2. You can see I have the grid on the back of my fabrics. So we're backing all of these fabrics. This process can be a high waist process. So like this one has a lot, see how there's a lot of pink? I may or may not use that plain pink in there. I don't know. So don't get fabrics that you think you're going to use every square inch of them, because you're probably not. Just a heads up. Some patterns you have a little bit better, like my turtle. My turtle, I have a little bit more control over, you can kind of see. You have more control. I'll get to your question in just a minute, Vanessa. You have more control over your shapes. This is a little bit different process. So we're going to go back to the flowers and show you how to do that. So the first thing, Vanessa, is you'll have a pattern. So today I'm doing a heart. I'm going to trace that pattern onto, it's called PatternEase. This is what I'm going to build my new fabric onto. So I'm going to find fabrics that I really like. And then I'm going to start cutting everything out. My mom says it's a lot like cutting out paper dolls when she was little. So here's like one of those that I cut out. So when I cut, what I am doing, I'm going to show you. This is little. Now these scissors are not great. The good scissors, I'll have to pull them up on my phone. I had like the good scissors all pulled up on my iPad, but now I need my iPad for this part, so that's not going to work. Your hands will get tired. It will dig in here on your thumb, and it will dig in here on your finger. So good scissors are important, and I can show you guys some good ones in just a minute. So what I'm going to do is I am cutting, look, see, we're making this up as we go. this whole process is a choose your own adventure process, okay? So it starts even in my cutting. I am not gonna move my scissors for the most part. I am moving my fabric with my non-cutting hand, okay? I have found that if I start, you can see if I want to move. Sorry, I know this isn't ideal. If I want to move my scissor hand, I can. You can go either way. Again, choose your own adventure. There is no right or wrong way in quilting, right? There are no quilting police. So if I decide look, I can barely see the screen standing like this, so I apologize if I keep falling off. I don't want that yellow flower. So I'm gonna just cut it right out because I can. So you can see. So I'm gonna sit in front of the TV for hours and cut out my flowers. Now, they don't have to be exact. If you are one of those that needs things to be exact, then you can, by all means, be exact. I am not that person. Exact is very difficult for me. It is something that I can do, but I have to really, really work hard at it. And sometimes the effort is worth it, especially if it's a gift for somebody or it's a very challenging quilt, like there's a lot of pinwheels or something in it. Then yes, I will take my time and I will be a little bit more exact. But this is a process. It doesn't really need exactness. So I have cut my little piece. I'm going to keep this piece. This I might keep. It's kind of small, so I probably won't. But sometimes these can be good fillers. Hey, Jen. So I have my PatternEase. And I'm going to, now remember, Steam is Seam 2 is double-sided. So now I'm going to take off that grid side. Okay. You can kind of lay them out and figure out what you want to do first. Probably isn't a bad idea, but I already know. I kind of played with it a little bit and I know I want to keep this piece in there. Steam is Seam 2. So you're going to take off one side, glue it to your fabric, iron it to your fabric, cut out all of your little flowers. Then when I take off the back, it's kind of sticky. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on my PatternEase. And I don't need to glue it. I don't need to pin it. It's going to stick. So this is the fun part. This is where I'm going to start building my new fabric. If my setup worked, I wouldn't have to, we could just lay this out without pulling off the backing. But that is not how we are rolling today. So now I found another piece. I'm going to start building. I'm covering my lines. Okay? This is going to be another part of your choose your own adventure. When you cut out your pattern, do you want to cut on the line or do you want to cut around what you're pasting down? That's another game day decision. I have already chosen that I'm going to cut on my line. So I'm going to plan accordingly for that. So I'm going to put another piece up here. Okay, so I put this piece up, but I want it behind this one. That's not a problem because this stuff is not ironed down yet. It's sticky, so it's going to stick to my PatternEase, but it will not, I can move it. I can pull it, I can take it off, I can put it back on. I'm sure that, it's like a Post-it note. I'm sure that there's a point where I can't do that anymore, then I'm going to have to pin it. But you probably get 2 or 3 at least pickups and moves. So now I'm going to look for a little piece to cover this little corner over here. But I want it to go underneath my little swirl. So I'm going to lift that corner. Okay. So I built this corner up. You can see on the back, that I've got a lot more purple through the back than you can see on the front. You can leave that if you want. Or you can pull up your little swirl and cut off some of that purple. That's up to you. It doesn't matter. But my purple part is straight here. That doesn't matter because I am cutting on my curved line here. I'm not like on the, let me show you what I mean. So I'm gonna cut straight on the line, but this one was not cut straight on the line. It was cut on the curve of all of the fabrics. So when this was laid out, it was laid out with that intention. Another choose your own adventure. So as you're going, you can pick how you want this to look. You can audition, you can try, you can rearrange. There's a lot of flexibility in this, which is, I think, part of the fun. Let's try this one. Sometimes the seam 2 is hard to get off. You can take your scissors, open them up, and that's just kind of cut the back of the paper, and that's just enough to help you lift it off. So you can do that as well. Put her this way. I'm working on the other side now, so you can see my little heart. I actually cut out a lot more of these than I have here. But in my haste to leave work last night, I left them all at the shop. So that's not helpful for me today. So here, so you can just see, it's just easy, peels right off, and it's nice and sticky. Super fun. It could, I mean, you could sit for hours and cut fabrics out, which I'm sure I think my mom does. But she sits down and watches TV and makes a little pile and goes along her merry way. Just cuts and cuts. So let's see, here's one more. I did not bring an iron in from the shop, or from the sewing room. So we're just going to pretend today that we are going to iron this down. Okay, so here's some decisions I need to make. I have some gaps here. I don't want the PatternEase to show through. I want to fill these with something. So that is where some of my bigger scraps, sometimes I have bigger scraps than this, will come into play. So I'm going to take these little flowers, kind of trim it up a little bit nicer. Cut them out. They don't have to be cut out well because it's filling a hole. So it doesn't need to be cut out exact. I just need a patch, basically. That's all I'm doing with it. So I'm going to not drop that. I'm going to use that little piece and put it right in here. Once I get the back off. There are ways to do this without seam 2. You can use, there's some glues out there that you can use. It kind of takes a little bit of the flexibility away, because then you have to glue it and re-glue it if you want to move things. So there's that little piece I just filled it in with. So sometimes it's not a bad idea to keep your little scraps just for filler. So the cool thing about this, like I said, you can do anything you want. It's choose your own adventure, remember? So maybe I've done all this work and I decided I don't like it. That's okay, because it's not glued down yet. It's not ironed. Once you iron it, you're set. You can't pick that up. It's a firm glue. But as long as I haven't ironed it yet, I still have flexibility. I can still change it. All right, so I have this big purple pansy. I don't need that much. I just need a little bit of it. So I'm just going to cut off some of it. Does anybody have any questions yet? Y'all are just like watching TV or something. I don't know. But if you have any questions, don't be afraid to holler. So I'm going to use this little purple, and I'm actually going to put a little color right here in this. Just to kind of break up the pink a little bit. It's a lot of pink. So I've got a couple layers I have to go through, but that's all right. So I was talking to Michelle today too, and she's totally on board with helping me with this. And with, so I've also started a YouTube channel. And so all of these tips, tricks, and technique days I will put up on YouTube. So you can find it on YouTube soon. Once I get that started, once I get this one uploaded, I'll send the link so that you guys can see that. So I put this purple piece right here. I don't love it. It's all right. Kind of looks like creepy eyes. So I think I'm going to take it out. Let's see what else I can find for that spot. So this is all part of the whole process of figuring out how you want it to look. So I have this big chunk that those purple flowers came from, but I'm actually not going to use any of the flowers. I think I just want to use a little bit of this. I just want some color. I don't need a lot. I don't need a lot of anything in there. Good. I'm glad that the idea of the YouTube channel is not a bad one. Because sometimes, you know, I have these great ideas that I think are amazing, and everybody's like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. So, but I know not everybody's on Facebook, and the nice thing about YouTube is you can always pause it. But I like to do these lives because then that way you guys can ask questions if you have questions. So I've almost got this piece where I want it. It's kind of, it fit, like it covers the gap, but it's just like a weird shape. So I'm picking it up and putting it down and making sure it covers. Oh, there we go. So I like that a little bit better. I'm not in love, but it's a little bit better than the eyes. Some purple eyes. So I have some space up here I need to fill in too. So let's see what we can find out. Find her up there. And I just need some filler. So I think this piece will work great. So after I'm all done with this, I am going to iron it. And that's going to set these flowers into my new fabric. Hi Sarah, I'm glad you can make it. I was telling them that this will be uploaded onto YouTube, so if you missed the beginning, it's not a big deal. You can always go back. All right, I think I filled it up. There's like a smidge right here that I can adjust and make sure I get over that. So for the most part, it's not horrible. So here's the shape that I'm going to cut out. So you can see I've chosen to cut on my line as opposed to on the flowers. That would have been a whole different, that would have been a different process a little bit. I would have been more careful and had more frillies on the edge. That's not what I was going for today. So what I want to do, if I had my iron here, I would be ironing this. So I'm done. I'm happy with the layout. I'm ironing it. We're going to pretend that I'm ironing it. I'm really not. After I've ironed it, I'm going to cut it out. Now I'm going to cut out my heart. Wait, no. Sorry, I missed a step. I'm going to iron the front down. Then I'm going to put another layer of Steam 2 on the back of my heart. Okay? Because this is how I'm going to attach it to my backing fabric. So you can see in this sample that there is, so this is my backing. All of these flowers were put onto the PatternEase. That pattern, this new fabric that we made was put onto Steam 2. We cut it out. You always want to cut out after you steam a seam to it. So you need to put your steam a seam on it before you cut. So we steam a seam to the back of our PatternEase, then we cut it out. Okay? If you cut it out first and then try to put the interface into steam a seam 2 on it, you're going to get a lot of steam a seam 2 on your iron or on your ironing board. You can put an applique mat and do it that way. I wouldn't do that as a normal. I would only do that if it was like, oh, I forgot. Okay, so if you forgot and you really wanted this fabric, but you already cut it out, you could do it that way. But I don't recommend it. I would only do it as an urgent thing. So now we're pretending I put steam a seam 2 on here. And now I am going to cut it out. So now I have my steam a seam 2 on the back of my pattern. I'm going to cut out my heart. Ooh. Okay. Now remember, so what I'm going to do on this is I'm going to cut all of that black line off. So you can see my black line I'm cutting off. So in that way, when you flip it over, you don't see it. There's no marker on the front. It doesn't bleed through in any way. So I'm going to cut just on the inside of that line. So when you draw onto your PatternEase, it's okay to use a Sharpie because you can cut it off. Unless you're doing the floral edge. Then, I don't know. I think Mom does Sharpies on all of hers. But I don't know. You could probably use a marker, a ballpoint pen, but then it may not. No, you should be able to do that. Use a thinner marker. So, somehow all of my big scissors have disappeared. It could be the 12-year-old's fault. I'm not sure. So, I just have these little embroideries. So sorry it's taking me so long to cut all this out. Okay. I do have PatternEase, Sarah. It's by the yard. It's about 42 wide. They use it to trace patterns so that when you're doing like clothing and stuff, you have a permanent pattern. So it's a soft, non-woven, non-fusible fabric, basically. So here is my little heart. My new fabric that I made. Now, when I missed a couple holes, but it's okay. I can go back and fix that. When I go to quilt this, now remember these things are, I sure can, Sarah. These things are not for everyday use. This will not be the center of the king size quilt that goes on your bed. That's just not how it's going to work. It will fray, it will lift, it will not age well. So, this is going to be a decorative piece, so that's why I keep showing you guys this piece. These are my wall hangings. I have no plans to ever wash this. If it needs to be washed, I'll probably bring it to a dry cleaner. But in this, it's not heavily quilted because it's not going to be used a lot. So it's basically just tacked down. You don't even have to do this seam a seam 2 on the back of your heart. You could put it on your quilt and just use a little glue or whatever, keep it in place, and then just quilt it down. That is an option too. So I would here, you can't, I don't know why her backing on these are not quilted, but there's just a little wave that these are both quilted with. So that is the majority of what I was, what I learned how to do. Did you guys have any questions? Hi, Kathy. I was going to show you, let me show you the scissors. I'll pull them up on my website. Oops. Oh, the other thing I was going to show you too was There's several Facebook pages that I'm in just for this. But let me go to show you the scissors first. Oh, sorry. I need... So while I'm doing this, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to post them. Oh, my mom was saying you can, if you want it a little bit more durable, you can take your time and quilt around everything. Hi, Shirley. Hi, Deb. Let's look here. It's all right, Kathy. I've told everybody else, but what I'm going to be doing is I have started a YouTube channel. So all of these tutorials will go up onto the YouTube channel, and I'll be emailing all of that out. So if you're on my email list, awesome, you'll get that. Okay, so the scissors that my mom, who's, as you can see, she's made, I don't know, at least 6 or 7 of these quilts, I think. These are the scissors that she uses. They're called Perfect scissors. These are the medium size. And they fit around more than just 2 fingers. And they're squishy. So as you're cutting, it's not digging. Like this would dig here and this would dig here. After about an hour, I would want to chuck these things. So small scissors are good to get into. If you really wanted to take all of that pink background out of here, then yes, I would start with the Perfect scissors. I would start with those, and if I can't get it, then I would go to a smaller pair. But don't use your smaller pair for the majority of your cutting. It's going to kill your fingers. So the Facebook, oh, thanks, Sue. The Facebook pages that I like, one is called Collage Quilter. I know, creative, huh? But these ladies, oh, see, it's backwards because it's mirrored, I'm sorry. But it's called Collage Quilt, a Facebook page. Just look for Collage Quilter. These ladies are amazing. Like, amazing. The stuff that they can do with fabric. Look at this Vermeer. It's amazing. And it's all just lights and darks, really. Finding your light serrated scissors help reduce fraying, my mom says. So that's also another good reason to have those Perfect scissors. But oh my God, how amazing is that? Ugh, it's just, it blows my mind what these ladies can do with fabric. Let me find, there's a couple others on here that I thought were just beyond. Look at this one. This is a picture of her daughter and her grandchild. Just amazing. This is all on Collage Quilter on Facebook. So if you find that group, on Facebook for Collage Quilter, these ladies, it's like, so Facebook cracks me up because it's a lot like putting your art on the fridge, but more public. There's some dogs on here that somebody did. She kind of documented her process, and she's been updating it a little as she went, and they're just stunning. So let me scroll through. Oh, here they are. Here's the photograph she used. Let's see. And then here's the quilt she made. Isn't that amazing? It's just, the things that people are able to do with fabric is beyond. The other one I found was fabric faces. So here's what I know it's backwards, I'm sorry. There's fabric faces. And they are the same. They are portraits with fabric. It's in process, but look at that. It's just amazing. So how you do portraits is similar to this, but not at the same time. It's, you have to make your own pattern. You know how on topographical maps, how like there's rings and you can tell height? That's this theory that you use for these. It's pretty amazing. So anyway, that's all that I have. Yeah. Is there anything else you guys wanted to go over? Anything you need me to repeat or do again? Or you can, like I said, you can find patterns anywhere. You can draw them. Your kids can draw them. Coloring books have nice outline drawings. You can find tons of stuff on Pinterest. You can make your own. You can learn how to do this fabric faces. And sometimes once you get into one of these, you're welcome, Jan. Once you get into one of these Facebook groups, they'll be like, oh, I found this other Facebook group, and they kind of lead you around. And that's how I found fabric faces, was through the collage group. Somebody had mentioned it, so I hopped over there. But clip art, yeah, clip art's good too. Anything that's just kind of a simple outline. Because what you're doing is you can build shade and depth and all of that with the lights, mediums, and darks of your fabrics. So if I wanted this to be a little bit more curved looking, I would just place my darks on one side and my lights on the other. And so there's ways to manipulate this. Even in my quilting, I can still add more depth to it. So thanks, Shelly. Yeah, I think that's it. It's just an applique process. So, but I think that's it for the day. Like I said, I'm gonna get this up on YouTube. As soon as I do, I will email it out to everybody so that you guys can start following along. Michelle's on board. She's gonna help me do some stuff. We're gonna record a bunch of videos so that she can teach us about needles and our machines. And she's just an amazing machine guru. So, so we've got a lot of content, a lot of ideas and helpful tips and everything for you guys. So I'm excited for all that. Oh, hey, Rebecca, I didn't even see you come in. Anyway, I will see you guys later. Thank you so much. See you soon.